Sure, I've done a couple $1 billion worth of real estate, but you don't do that amount of real estate with having some turds. I mean, some really bad deals along the way. And I thought, you know what? Here's what'll be fun. Let's make a video about 3 of my all-time worst deals and what I learned about it. Would you like that? Would you like to see me fall on my face? Well, come on. All right, check it out. Today, I'm gonna be sharing with you my 3 worst real estate deals and the lessons that I've learned, because here's the reality. The way I do real estate, a single family home priced below the median in one of the best markets, I wanna make 50 to 100,000 or 200,000 on every one of them. But you know what? Sometimes what you get instead is a turd. And literally, my best friend decided to have his Doberman Pinscher make me this present, and they trapped it in resin. And you know what? When I look at it and hold it, yep, that smells like these 3 worst deals. Listen, if you're a subscriber on my channel, it's because I'm your mentor and I'm here to teach you about the game of money. And while I'm always revealing strategies that I've perfected for making a lot of money, sometimes the best advice that your mentor has is what not to do. Check this out. Bryant McGill said, "A person who makes few mistakes makes little progress." And I assure you, I have made my share of mistakes. And I want to share with you something that I love to tell people about mistakes, because often we just associate them with failure and we get down on ourselves. But if you feel bad about your failures, you may not get back up and try again. So I love to remind people that if you did get a goal, that's what's on this side right here, and you learned a lesson, well, then what you have is success. But when you don't actually achieve the goal and still learn a lesson, I also call that success. There are even times when you're so good at achieving the goal, but you don't learn anything new, that I would still call that success. This is where real estate investors and business owners get in trouble. It's when they didn't get their goal and they didn't figure out why. So today I'm going to take 3 of my worst deals. I'm going to literally reveal them to you, show them to you, and show you how to not get some of this in your face. Some of my biggest mistakes in real estate actually come down to buying out-of-state real estate. Now, ironically, because I've learned the lessons, I will only buy, for the most part, out-of-state real estate. You know why? Because I've learned that out of 324 markets, if you can be in the top 5, you're gonna make the most money. But that doesn't mean that I knew how to do it in the beginning. I'm gonna call this one Indiana ignorance, because I actually bought this home in Indiana, and I bought the house for $97,000. But guess what? The renovation costs were supposed to be really minimal, but over a period of 3 years, ended up being $75,000. By the way, the house is only worth today 150 grand. So it's like, well, I bought it for 100, it's worth 150. It's gone up 50,000 in value, but you've put $75,000 into it. This 1,200 square foot single family home was purchased at a great price, but the inspector was not thorough enough. The bargain price was offset by the leaky roof that had to be replaced, plus the water damaged cabinets, the flooring, and here's the worst part. The insurance company should have paid for this, but they weaseled out of it. So even though the inspector didn't do a great job, guess who came out of pocket? Not super fun. So Kris, what is the lesson that you learned? Always do your due diligence, especially when it comes to inspections. Some people try to save the money and be like, I don't want to pay a few $100s for an inspector. I want to see if I can avoid that. And I'm like, that is something I would never do. While the home initially had a large out-of-pocket cost, it was still a decent deal. With the mortgage payment at $655 a month and the gross rent at $1,275, this property is actually netting a cash flow of $465 a month, but I am still digging myself out of that hole. Last year, I bought a ton of Airbnbs, and you know what? Some of them have been a grand slam, but I'm gonna share with you right now one of the worst. This California home I bought for $900,000. Its projected renovations were supposed to be around $200,000. But guess what? In the end, it didn't cost 200 grand. It cost $400,000. It was supposed to be a 2-month rehab. It turned into 10 months. So this house now is up and going. It's starting to make money. But I have to tell you, when it literally hits the market 8 months later than it's supposed to, and at a cost of $200,000 more than it was supposed to, that lowers the ROI where I made the decision in the first place that the deal made sense. For me, there were very important lessons to learn on this deal. You have to have the right people on your team. And this deal has cost me $10,000 every month that the property was not being rented out. Had we a better general contractor and known how much work was actually needed for the short-term rental, honestly, would have never put it under contract in the first place. Now, the good news is that in holding it, it actually has a great cash-on-cash return. It's less than it's supposed to be because the out-of-pocket is so much higher than planned. And on this one, literally had one team member, just like on that last deal where the inspection wasn't done quite the way it needed to be, that really turned the deal upside down. For my third property mistake, I need to give you a little bit of a frame up. You see, for years now, I have people that follow me on social media, and then they submit themselves to being partners of mine. And the reality is, I have a known track record. When I'm using my single family formula and I'm averaging 25 to 35% annual ROIs, people look at the 6,500 homes that I've transacted and they're like, wow, I want to partner with Kris. Well, they can watch thousands of my videos online. They can read all about my track record. I publish it in a document called Krohn Consortium. But how much vetting can I really do about them? Yes, I have a multiple stage interview process. I get to know them. Usually they've got money sitting in a 401k or IRA or equity in their home. And they're like, Kris, can I use these assets and turn them into millions of dollars in real estate? And I show them how to do that. And so ultimately we form a partnership. And you know what? I am surprised at how often this works out really, really well. But I'll also tell you, in the last couple of years, I've had a couple of partners where I'm like, you're fired. Every property you purchase should have a clear exit strategy. This is especially true when working with partners because unfortunately, some partners think that they know better, become self-interested, and break operating agreements. And that's what happened with one of my partners. We had actually bought 3 properties together. And ultimately, they wanted to get out and they wanted to sell prematurely. Now, here's what's strange. Based on the ROI we were earning on these 3 homes, generally, if we can maintain an average ROI of 25% every year and allow that to compound, over the course of 20 years, one home can turn into potentially $4.3 million. If I average something closer to the ROIs I normally get, that can literally be closer to $17 million. Well, we didn't buy one home, we bought 3. Which meant that we were building a real estate dynasty together, an empire, something for the next generation, but also something that would provide really powerful cash flow for them. But within the first year, some things happened, and basically they wanted to prematurely exit. Let's find out what happened. Now, it's a little sad, but I want to show you these 3 properties. We bought this one for $158,000, and a year later, basically sold it for $180,000. But by the way, it's currently worth $190,000. And so they've already lost out on $10,000. Based on the little they put down, that was a huge ROI bump. This one purchased for $166,000, and we ended up selling it to liquidate the partnership at $226,000, but it's currently worth $265,000. There's another $39,000 just by allowing a little bit of time to pass. This one was bought for $172,000, sold it for $230,000. Today it's worth $273,000. That's $43,000. You add up the 43, the 39, the 10, that's another $90,000 these homes have grown by. Now, why did they want out? Well, they bought 3 homes and they're like, well, we can't retire on the cash flow on these 3 properties. I'm like, well, the game plan with me is you don't have enough money to retire, so we need to take what you got and we've got to actually put it to work. What we're focusing on right now is these are growth markets, and you can see they've grown quite a bit. What they're worth versus what we bought them for, there's a $101,000 difference there. And so they didn't have patience to allow the money to compound, because by the time you take these profits and roll it into 6 properties and 16 properties and 30 properties, you're going to be sitting on so much tax-free cash flow, you're not going to know what to do with it. And that is just one way that real estate game is played that builds mega multimillionaires. For this partnership, they lost sight of the goal really, really quickly, so we had to exit the relationship. Now, even though we were making money, it didn't work out for that partner because some partnerships are not meant to be. But I have hundreds of other partners that have found me from watching videos just like this. And what they did is they clicked a link below and said, hey, Kris, show me your track record on your last several thousand homes, addresses and all, or show me your strategy and your system and how it works. And I make this document available for free, showing the last $1 billion worth of real estate that I've done with my partners. If you want to know what this looks like, or check it out, if you've got $50,000 sitting in a 401k, maybe you've got some money sitting in an IRA. Maybe you've got some money sitting in equity in your home. Well, your equity isn't making you money. Your 401k is not making you money. Your IRA is not making you money. But if you put these in real estate doing what I'm talking about here, we could literally crush it together. So if you'd like to get your hands on this free document and talk to a member of my team about what partnering could look like, click the link below, check out the track record, and who knows, that partnership did not work out for them. But for the rest of my partners, what we're doing now is we're building multi-million dollar portfolios. It's totally passive to them. And if you want to learn about it, click the link and let me show you. Hey, I made this video today because I want you to learn from my mistakes. I hope it was educational. By the way, if you want the next hack on how you actually afford a home in 2023 with rates as high as they are and yet why I'm buying all-time more real estate than ever before, click this video and let me show you why now is your time.